This is Business LO, a podcast by the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce, which connects, educates, advocates, and champions our business community. We have nearly 500 members from international corporations to home-based businesses, and we serve them all. Each episode of Business LO gives insider information to the local business community and the neighbors who support them. And now, let's talk Business LO.
Today is October 15th, 2025, and this episode will be published on November 1st. And today we're talking to the CEO of one of the largest nonprofit charitable organizations in Lake Oswego and their impact on the community and what we can all learn from them, okay? Joining us is Travis Duncan, CEO of Mary's Woods, which is a life plan community that opened in 2001 that operates as a nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization. Unlike for-profit communities, Mary's Woods reinvests profits into the community to further their mission and vision. They are here to serve the residents, not corporate shareholders. And driving the conversation today is Heather Graves Ramsey, owner of Coach to Brilliance. She specializes in executive coaching and leadership development. And with all the insider information we want, it is Chamber CEO and your go-to gal, Liz Hartman. She has what you need to know in LO. I'm Michelle Odell. Let's talk Business LO. Heather, let's take it away.
Travis, I finally have you captive here. So excited to learn more about you, but also about Mary's Woods. So tell us a little bit about you, how you found your way to Mary's Woods.
I've been in the senior living industry for quite a while. I was up in a community in Seattle for the last 12 years and looking to make an upgrade. And so I was really drawn to Mary's Woods. I've known about it for a long time. It's a well-known community, given its size, given its scale, what it does, being part of the community that it's in. And so it was, when I heard about the CEO opening, I jumped at the opportunity to apply.
We're lucky to have you. Not everybody knows about Mary's Woods, so would love to hear a little bit about the residents, employees, how many people you have on campus, all that good stuff.
We are a little bit hidden here, even though probably many people drive by us and probably wonder what we are. But
we do, actually.
Yeah. We're here to demystify that today. But we're really a small city tucked within Lake Oswego. We have about 780 residents, nearly 450 employees. And if you add contractors, family visitors, volunteers throughout the day, we have probably 1,000 to 1,200 people on campus at any given time. So
wow,
it's a big operation. As we were introed, we're a life plan community, meaning we have mostly independent living, but also other levels of care. We do assisted living, residential care facility on campus, as well as memory care. So we serve kind of that whole spectrum of needs as residents age. We sit on a 40-acre campus between Marylhurst University, or the old Marylhurst University, on property that was set aside by the Sisters of the Holy Names many years ago. And so that's a little bit about what we are. We're really a connected neighborhood within our acreage. And we have some villas. We have some homes that are more like condo living. We are a healthcare provider. We have 10 dining venues on campus, a lot of green spaces, activity spaces, fitness spaces. So really anything residents need to sustain themselves within our campus, we try and provide.
It is an amazing community. And honestly, everybody that I talk to that lives there loves it there. So it definitely is something special that you're creating for them, for the residents, for the people that live there. I'm curious, though, that's a lot of people to have on campus at any one time. Where in the world do they park?
In any number of places. We were just asked today if we could take out a couple spots and add a tree, and we had to say no. Unfortunately. But there's parking all that ring our buildings. We have some underground parking under some of our buildings, some surface lots, which you can see almost everywhere. And then we try and get as many of our employees as we can to use, mass transit. So if they can bus here or commute or do other things, we recommend that highly as well and subsidize that.
Oh, wow. Okay. You've been here for how long?
Just hit my 1 year on September 30th.
Well, happy anniversary. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So 1 year. And, they usually say a CEO needs to take some time, take a look at what's going on, and then kind of come with their vision. But what is it that you hope for Mary's Woods?
My overarching goal is to modernize our operation without losing the magic that makes Mary's Woods what it is. Our residents will tell you how amazing the campus is. And we don't want to lose what makes us special, but we definitely know we need to lean into technology, especially technology. We're investing in a lot of that just to bring our systems up to levels that they should be at. We want to invest in technology that will support aging and maybe lessen the need for some staffing as the staffing crisis gets a little bit harder to manage. We've done a lot of leadership changes over the last year. We've brought in some leaders from the outside who've made huge impacts. We've also promoted a great deal of people from within, which is something we're developing new leaders, obviously something we're super passionate about. So it's been great to be able to do that as well. Yeah. We're focusing heavy on the resident experience. What residents that currently live here want is not always what residents that are coming in want. The baby boomer generation has a lot more needs and desires as they enter senior living. So we're trying to answer that call by updating our services, enhancing them where we can, and really focusing on resident wellness. That's the biggest one we hear about a lot and the one we want to focus on the most.
Yeah.
The other thing we want to do, and one of the exciting things about being on this podcast is we want to strengthen our connection to the external community.
I'm very excited to hear that just because, again, there's the people that are there seem like they're super happy. And part of that wellness is engagement and belonging, and not just within your community, but with the community as a whole. So I love to hear you say that. Just out of curiosity, what's an example of something technology-wise that you're upgrading?
None of it's really exciting stuff if you're not working here currently, but we're upgrading our point of sale system in dining. We're upgrading our electronic health record system. We're upgrading our servers and our infrastructure to provide a little bit more redundancy in services, our phone system, things like that are not super bells and whistles and shiny things for residents to see, but things that will support our staff in taking care of these residents.
But they are, at the same time, like health records, having easy access to stuff, being able to take care of folks in that way. And then even just the point of sale in the dining hall, it helps you to be able to control costs so that you can give that back to folks and know really what you've got going on. So great. Yeah. You're not alone. There's a lot of folks that are going through transformation and, in a lot of their tech areas.
Once we can get through those tech upgrades, those systems, we can really start to look at technology that's going to focus on the resident experience and how to predictive analytics. AI is such a big discussion right now. There's so many things that will enhance the resident experience and really support them in their aging journey that we will get to next round.
Yeah. So you got to have the basic needs met first, for sure. You mentioned the secret sauce, like wanting to keep that secret sauce. Help us with a little bit around what does that secret sauce look like?
Resident engagement's the big one. These residents moved here for a reason, and just listening to them and giving them what they need to be engaged on this campus and to be part of this community is what we want to focus on. We want to be an organization that listens and that reacts fast to those needs and one that really believes in our mission and our culture. So important for us is that we don't want to lose touch with why we were founded and why we're here, which is really to take care of the needs of these seniors, but really our employees and our community and all persons that need our support.
Love that. So I love what you're doing for your residents, but this is a podcast for a lot of our businesses. And so one of the curiosities that we have is, when you look at some of the economic drivers and the fact that you must have a huge impact on us. There's 1,000 people at your campus at any one time, what have you, but what are some of those economic drivers that you see?
Yeah, I think our residents are an economic engine that you don't always see, but with so many of them here, they're using the services of our community. They have to leave our campus to do so many things. No matter how much we try and provide here, they're still out and supporting local restaurants, boutiques, salons, healthcare providers, any number of things. And as are our employees and their family members and others that are tied to this community, but maybe not living here. And so it's really just that support by using the services, I think, is the biggest way we're supporting the community. What comes next is looking at ways we can support it in other ways. And that's really that engagement we want as we focus on the external community, how we can be better volunteers, how we can be better supporters, how we can sponsor different things or bring the community inside our walls to do some of those things as well.
Yeah. There's certainly something that comes from having a purpose and feeling purposeful. And so that whole plugging in, I have a dream someday that, there's a bus coming to Rotary and a bunch of bunch of people from Mary's Woods. We do have a lot already that are members. And then also, we see your buses all around shopping and that sort of thing. And so that's a huge thing that you're doing for them too, to make sure that they can get out there. So you also have a lot of employees, and that for sure is an economic driver. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Not all employees live in Lake Oswego, so it's not quite the same as what our residents can give back. But beyond the wages, that some of the taxes and things that go back into the community, a lot of that, what we're giving to the employees does circle back. They're still using some of the housing around. They're dining on their way home or using the services that are closer to their work, so childcare or some of those pieces. So we're also an operation that is not seasonal. These employees are on site 24/7 every day of the week, all year long. So since we're not really phasing in and out, we are that economic support all the time for them. And we're hoping they build careers here, want to move here, and really become part of the community. So we're trying to bring them in and keep them here as long as we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of work around affordable housing and how do we make sure that the people that work in places like yours, but also the schools and the fire, everybody, that they can live, work, stay, and play. We want them all here. What's the percentage of residents that you have that are from here in Lake Oswego or even Oregon?
About 80+% of our residents are from Oregon. A lot of them are from very locally West Linn, Lake Oswego area. So we don't have to train as many of them on what we are. Of the little bit less than 20% that are not from Oregon, they're moving up here on occasion because they know who we are and they love our community, but most often it's to be closer to family, which is in the area. So they already know the area well. They've visited a lot. They've decided to move closer to their kids, and we're just a place they can land so that they can do that.
You'd mentioned kind of getting out in the community a little bit more. What might that look like?
We're really looking for ways to connect more intentionally. So local businesses, schools, nonprofits, civic groups. There's so much opportunity for collaboration, even between local restaurants hosting pop-ups on campus, students engaging with residents in a mentorship program, healthcare and tech partnerships that can improve quality of life. We really want to build those bridges, really intergenerational bridges where we can, but between innovation, traditional ideas, whatever it is. So we're open. That's what I would say to the community. We're open for your ideas as well. So if there's a way you think you'd like to connect, please reach out to me directly, and we'd love to talk about a partnership.
Say the word, we can bring them over.
And if you're willing to come to us, unfortunately not all of our residents are as mobile as they used to be, but if we could create those partnerships and bring more services to the residents, that's going to go a long way for them and really help.
So reaching out to you, and we're going to be on the lookout for Mary's Woods everywhere.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's going to be great. You're coming from Seattle. Lessons that you've learned coming from like just a larger organization to one that's a little bit smaller.
Living and working downtown Seattle, where my last community was, it's really all about scale. Tall buildings. We were surrounded by 40-story towers on every side. Constant noise. Everything moves really fast. It's impressive, but it can feel really impersonal. Mm-hmm. Lake Oswego is very much the opposite of that. You see the same faces. You can walk down the street and everybody's has a mom or a cousin or an aunt or somebody that lives at Mary's Woods. And so you've made an impact. I think the big lesson is really just that. It's that smaller community means bigger impact. We're able to do more for our community and mean more to our community than you can when you're just one of many in Seattle.
You had mentioned like there's a high need for what you're doing. You mentioned that all the different facilities, you all get along because everybody needs something different. And I think that mentality and having that mentality is super important. And I know you and I don't know each other very well, but I've lived in 10 different places over the last 32 years with my husband's work. And I have not found a community that is more open to connecting and thinking more from a abundance perspective versus tightening in. So I love this idea of you guys getting out there even more. But I also think that your mindset is really around this sort of we're better together and let's hone in on how we can make that happen.
That's absolutely right. Senior living, all of our occupancy is good. None of us, we might lose a resident here or there to somebody else, and we might get a resident or two from somebody else. But for the most part, all of our communities look and feel a little bit different, and residents choose whichever one really feels, they walk in and they really feel right away which fits them the most. And so we're not competitors. We can partner a lot more than we can compete. And I think that's really special for our industry.
Absolutely. What else? What else am I not asking, Travis, that I should be?
I mean, just to demystify senior living a little bit, most people see it as the end of something, just a bunch of older generation Americans. Maybe they have that picture in their head of quiet hallways and bingo nights, but it's really not what modern senior living is. It's really a new beginning for a lot of these residents. It's full of energy and curiosity and purpose. It feels more like a small liberal arts college sometime, maybe mixed with a neighborhood coffee shop. There's just constant activity. We have arts and crafts and shows and lectures, live music, fitness, volunteer groups. I mean, if you're here on campus, you're going to see residents everywhere engaging with each other, rehearsing for performances. We have a dance group, which is pretty amazing.
So awesome.
Our residents are big into civic engagement, obviously, as so many are. And so it's really quite special, senior living. It's not what most people expect if they've never been inside a big life plan community or seen it, but it's a pretty great place to work and to give back to.
Yeah. Travis, it was really great to be able to talk to you today. I'm really glad that you're here.
And thanks for being a part of the chamber, because it's a fantastic resource.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now it is time for what we need to know in LO. It's that time of year, Liz. I mean, we're getting into the holidays. There's lots of sponsorship things going on. Let's talk.
Well, let's start with the big one for November. And the big one in November is the tree lighting. Tree Lighting Festival is the day after Thanksgiving. That will be Friday, November 28th. It is a festival from 3 to 7 p.m., but the big time to be there is at 5:30. Last year, there were more than 5,000 people there. We had great wine tasting going on there. We'll have wine tasting again this year. We have show choirs from Company and Windjammers. The Millennium Concert Band will be there. And who doesn't love to see the Dickens singers walking around in their period pieces from Victorian era? And it has really become quite the festival from 3 to 7. We have 2 silver sponsors so far. On Point Community Credit Union and Lakeside Heating Cooling is coming back this year. Lakeside Heating and Cooling was there last year. They have a vintage truck that they put on display, and they have it all decorated for the holidays. So it is a very, very fun event. And of course, there's Third Thursday in November, and that is on Thursday, November 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. The lobster truck will be there again. And we have about 15 participating retail stores, but we're getting more artists coming to this. So it is a great opportunity to look for some little items you might want for your holiday gifts or for your business gifts, and a nice way to support our arts community. And then we are telling our chamber members that it's time to mark your calendar for Wednesday, December 10th from 5 to 8 p.m. That is the holiday party. And if you're a small business and you wouldn't normally have a little employee party, this is a place you can come bring them for your own employee party. Get a table. There'll be great food. It looks like the food will be from Vibrant Table. And we have Say What? Pouring wine. The wine is $5 a glass. I don't know where else in Lake Oswego you can get wine for $5 a glass.
Nowhere.
The title sponsor, which is Beacon and Ironlight together as the title sponsor. We have silver sponsors, A.Y. Meisner, LLC, Fisher Family Law, and then we have 2 bronze sponsors, and that is Modern Chiropractic and Visiting Angels. Our chamber community is really looking forward to this event. The Lake Ridge Jazz Band will be back, and they are one of the favorites. They play very nice background music so that you can still talk and hear everyone you're talking to.
Heather, what do people need to do on Tuesday?
By Tuesday, end of day, you need to have your ballot in the mail. I know all of you have already put it in and you voted yes for the school bond, but if you haven't by chance, you still have an opportunity. It just needs to be postmarked, and if not, you can go down to City Hall and you can put it in the ballot box. But we need your votes, everybody. We cannot be complacent. We got to get those votes out.
Very cool. Okay. Well, thank you again. I want to thank our listeners and remind everybody that every day is a Chamber of Commerce Day here in Lake Oswego.
The Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce thanks you for listening to Business LO. We would love to have you as a member so you can help Lake Oswego continue to be one of the best places to live, work, and play. If you want to share an idea for a future episode or become a member, visit us at lakeoswegochamber.com, and please like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for help with your business podcast, go to modcastproductions.com.